So my name's Abby Osho, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to have any technical hitches tonight, i.e. as my slide moving. Can everyone hear me?
You won't have any technical issues, Abby, you're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I'm pressing the button and it's not moving, Nathan.
Click on it and then move it again.
Okay, I've got to click on it 3 times. Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so hi everyone. Some of you may know me already. I'm Abby Osho. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a life coach, and very much a doTERRA wellness advocate. So tonight we're going to be covering the importance of restful sleep, an overview of depression, recognizing and managing anxiety, and supportive essential oils and supplements that really will support all of the areas that I'm going to be speaking about above. Okay, so you may have seen this picture on a number of other slides, but it's just important to say what I'm going to share with you tonight are very much my own experiences. I'm also going to share with you some of my clients' experiences. I've changed their names. They've allowed me to use some of their feedback and their comments, which hopefully you will find useful as we go through the presentation tonight. So the doTERRA wellness lifestyle. So as we know, everything needs to be in moderation. We are given a toolbox, and it's really up to us to use all of the tools in the box, not just the part that we may think suits us at the time. So it's about eating right, it's about exercise, it's about resting and managing stress, which we're going to talk about tonight, reducing the toxic load, informed self-care, so looking after ourselves, and where necessary, proactive medical care. So, let me go back one. So in terms of the effect of sleep deprivation, some of you may be aware, and some of you may even suffer from insomnia. There are 2 types of insomnia. We have intermittent insomnia, where people may drop asleep and then wake up, and they'll stay awake for a little while and they'll drop asleep again. And then there's chronic insomnia, where people really struggle to sleep at all. And for those of you that have suffered or know people, friends and family that have, you'll know how debilitating that can be in terms of not getting a good night's sleep. So it's really important that we do, and that's what we're going to be sharing tonight. So some of the complications that insomnia causes on a psychological level, and that little arrow is pointing to our hypothalamus, which is, it's kind of like the umbrella part of our brain, and it's very much the area that helps us, helps the transition into sleep. So when we don't get good sleep, many people suffer from lower performance at work or even at home. There's a slower reaction time that can definitely cause accidents if you're driving. There's a higher risk of depression, and a higher risk of an anxiety disorder. It also has an effect on our immune system, so there's poor immune system functionality. Some of the other effects can be overweight or obesity, high blood pressure, increased risk of heart disease, and increased risk of diabetes. Okay, so some of the dangers of sleep deprivation, some we've kind of spoken about, but this just gives us a little bit more detail. So there was a study carried out, and they found that in just 1 week of insufficient sleep, it alters the activity of our genes, which control our response to stress, immunity, inflammation, and overall health. So here are some of the hidden hazards that can be caused by sleep deprivation. So higher levels of depression, lack of sleep, causes a decrease in the neurotransmitters, which regulates mood. Impaired cognition. Excessive sleepiness impairs memory and the ability to think and process information. Higher levels of anxiety, so that's fight or flight mode. That's the little walnut-shaped area in the brain, which is called the amygdala. And that's what sets off our fight or flight mode. Now, we know there are no more saber-toothed tigers, but because of the lineage and how old our brains go back to, when something scares us or puts us in a situation of fear, our automatic response is to go into the fight or flight mode. And when that happens, you can be in a constant state of panic, and your heartbeat can race, your breathing gets much more shallow. And for many people these days that are constantly stressed, they are living this life all the time, as opposed to when they are in seriously panic-driven situations, which, as I said previously, can be extremely debilitating. So lack of sleep amplifies the brain's anticipatory reactions, which therefore raises overall anxiety levels. And then we have the disruption of the circadian rhythm, which is our natural time clock. And that leads to poor white blood cell health, which weakens our physical stress response and our immune system. So what is sleep hygiene? So sleep hygiene is the term used to describe good sleep habits. Now, many of us already have good sleep habits, and some of us will have not so good sleep habits. So that's what we're going to discuss as well tonight. There's considerable research that's gone into developing a set of guidelines and tips which are designed to enhance good sleeping. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that these strategies can provide long-term solutions to sleep difficulties. Okay, so sleep hygiene, the good and the bad. So these are things that will actually help you to sleep. And we'll start off with many things you will already be doing, I'm sure. So going to bed and getting up at the same time every day, if that's possible, that helps to create a really good start to a good health sleep regime. Don't watch TV before you go to bed. So at least half an hour, some people say an hour, but make sure that you're switching off the TV, the computer, and all those things that are actually going to interfere with your brain's capacity to switch off. Stay hydrated, really, really important. Now, I'm not saying to drink, half a litre of water before you go to bed, but if you're hydrating yourself with good water throughout the day, that's very much going to help you stay hydrated during the night. It's going to aid more restful sleep, and it's going to give you less broken sleep. Instead of maybe doing severe exercises like cardio or a really hard workout before you go to sleep, because what that can do, it can give you a hormonal reaction in terms of wanting to be more social, feeling really good about yourself, feeling really pumped, which is great. But if you're really trying to wind down before you go to sleep, then it's probably better to do something that's going to relax you. So that may be yoga, it may be a really nice stretch, it could be a little bit of Pilates, or generally just meditating and listening to some calming music. Anything to really just allow you to calm down and start to switch off. Spend time in the daylight during the day. Now, I know that we don't get that much sun in this country. We've had a couple of really nice days, and we've been rewarded with the rain. Well, in London today anyway, it's been chucking it down since about 4 o'clock this afternoon. But where you can spend time in the daylight and get that vitamin D, that really, really does help. Again, it helps balance your hormones. And at the end of the day, it's another aid to help restful sleep. Maybe read a book in bed if that's something that you like doing. Focus on concentration. That reading just before you go to bed can really help you slow down and get off to sleep. And again, have a light dinner, not too late in the evening. You don't want your digestive system having to work really, really hard, so you're feeling uncomfortable and bloated, which again may not help you to get to sleep. So the last thing on there is not to do any of the things below, which we're going to talk about now. And many of them you're probably not doing anyway. But so coffee and chocolates after dinner. So anything that's caffeine related, try not to do that. That isn't really going to help you switch off. So if that is something that you do kind of late before you go to bed at night, try and reduce it and remove it altogether if possible. if you're in a hot bedroom with no circulation, so there's been a couple of nights in the last couple of weeks where it's been quite warm. So, you know, have your window open, just slightly open, to make sure that there's air circulation around, so you're not waking up sweating or hot in the night, and also so that you're not getting dehydrated either. Going to bed too early when you're not tired, that can be unhelpful to you, because you'll go to bed, you'll fall asleep, and then you'll wake up, and for some people it's very difficult to get back to sleep. Lying in bed, getting annoyed again that you can't go to sleep, very similar to the point before. Staying indoors all day and no exercise. Again, exercise is great for us. It burns calories, it burns energy, it helps with our flexibility. And even if you are indoors and you're unable to get out for whatever reason, even if you can walk up the stairs or be walking from room to room, it doesn't have to be anything too over the top, but it's still a form of gentle exercise. So it's important to do that as much as we possibly can. Worrying about things that are going to happen in the future. Again, these are things that are out of our control. I talk a lot about this to lots of different clients that come to see me. And, you know, we cannot control things that are there in the future. They are not there in the here and now. So where possible, and I know sometimes it's easier said than done, try not to worry about those kind of things, because they will be coming up, they will be happening anyway. And again, using a computer just before bedtime, the same thing, computers, mobile phones, any kind of devices, make sure you switch them off. And if you're in the bedroom, if in fact don't even have them anywhere near you in the bedroom, keep them away, because you don't want the radiation, you don't want the energy that they're giving off to really affect you in any way. So sleep hygiene with oils. So these are some of the things that many of you probably do already, but one of the things that I find helps a lot with individuals is to diffuse, either while sleeping, diffuse your favorite oil. That could be lavender or serenity. It could be a number of different oils that you'll use. It could be vetiver. So you decide which oils. Some people will put them on a 2-hour or 1-hour setting before they sleep, and as they're sleeping, they're still breathing in the airborne molecules. Other people will have the diffuser on whilst they're sleeping. Do what's best for you, but there are some really lovely oils that will actually help aid restful sleep, and incorporate it into your bedtime routine. So it's not something that you just do, you know, when you're feeling like, oh, I can't sleep tonight. Just build it up and incorporate it into part of your sleep hygiene routine. Using relaxing oils in the bath. So some people I know will use deep blue essential oil in the bath. Lavender is always a popular one for many times as well. You won't have the bath boiling hot because you don't want to kill the therapeutic benefit of the oils, but you can drop a couple of drops in before you go to bed, and that will really help aid a restful night's sleep. I know people that will sprinkle them on their linen or on their bedclothes, again, and they're just inhaling that smell. That's really helpful to people as well. And if you're suffering from aches and pains, maybe you've had a really heavy workout during the day, or, I don't know, you've been in the garden, you've been painting and decorating, or you've just got some joint muscle aches and pains. Use your deep blue rub or your deep blue oil, maybe your wintergreen, your aroma touch, whatever works for you, but see if you can eliminate those aches and pains or reduce them before you go to sleep, because again, that's really going to help you. Use oils to keep your pets, kids and spouse asleep. So again, you can do it in the diffuser. You may have a couple of drops of lavender that you put in there, or even petitgrain if you're not so keen on the lavender. We now have petitgrain that we can get here, and it's a beautiful oil. They call it the men's lavender. So you can use that and make sure that, you know, because sometimes the animals, if your dog is suffering from insomnia and can't sleep and he's barking halfway through the night, not only is he waking you up, he may be waking up the neighbours as well. So yeah, you can use oils in that way. Use on the bottoms of the feet before bedtime. Many of us will know it takes 20 seconds for it to get into our bloodstream, 20 minutes for it to service every cell in the body. And last but by no means least, see if you can address anything that's underlying. So if there's an underlying issue there, that is challenging you to keep asleep or to go to sleep, then see if you can really get that addressed, because that will knock quite a lot of what's going on with you or those friends and families around you on the head. Okay, so sleep hygiene, so oils for waking. So again, it's all about getting into a habit. So have your morning diffuser all set up, yeah? You may have oils that you like, so you might like to use chia or elevation, the lifting oils. You may even like to put frankincense in there. So it's entirely up to you what you choose, but you know, have them by the diffuser, have them by the bed so they're ready there and they're good to go. A large glass of lemon water, it's the body's natural washing up liquid. It's going to give you a gentle detox first thing in the morning. And know what oils brighten you. And as I've said before, you know, use them. You can use them on your reflex points, whether it's perfume, use them on your wrist and inhale. You decide where you actually want to use the oils, but know what oils really elevate you first thing in the morning. They will really help. Where motivate, if you're somebody that likes to work out first thing in the morning, this is a great blend of oils to really get you motivated, really get you going. Again, you can use on the bottoms of the feet when you're rising. So it might be chia that you want to use, or citrus bliss, or whichever one that you really like, but use them on the soles of the feet as well. Lifelong vitality, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we go through the slides, but it's what I call the body's overall daily health system. And Mito 2 Max is very similar to the natural form of caffeine. So this is a natural supplement, both of them are, that can give you a really, really good boost throughout the day and first thing in the morning. So lavender, we know that's for all things calming. You can diffuse it in a room or apply topically to calm anxiety and soothe emotions. Massage on the back or bottoms of feet and apply a drop to the pillow at bedtime. So helpful hints. So this is just some of the feedback that I've got through working with my clients over a period of time. I've changed the names, but the actual text is the same. So I'll read it as it's said. So Kathy, considering I was never too keen on the smell of lavender, I have to admit that this one smells much nicer. I put it in the diffuser on a 2-hour setting before I go to bed. I also put a couple of drops of Whisper in with it, and I find it so relaxing. My mind just slows down and I can finally drift off to sleep. So that works really well for Kathy. And then we have the beautiful Serenity. Serenity is a unique combination of lavender, ylang ylang, marjoram, Roman chamomile, Hawaiian sandalwood, and vanilla bean extract. All of those that will help you get the refreshing sleep you need. And what's lovely about it is you don't wake up feeling groggy or tired the next morning. You actually feel really, really refreshed. It's a beautiful smelling blend. And again, it's one you can use in the diffuser on your reflex point and inhale. You can drop it soles of your feet or on your pillow. But it's a lovely calming blend of oils and works very well for people that generally struggle with sleep. And there's also now Serenity that comes in the gel caps, in the capsules. Myself, Becky, and a few of us last year went to the American convention and they were actually launched there. So I've been using them and they do actually work really, really well. We can now get them here. So it's worth having a look at them in your back office, see what you think, and if you think they can help, because these two in conjunction with each other do work and are very effective. So this is just some feedback from Judy. I use Serenity Essential Oil about 15 minutes before I go to sleep. I put it on the bottoms of my feet as well as a drop on my pillow, and it really helps me to relax and unwind. I actually feel like I now get a good night's sleep instead of waking up throughout the night feeling frustrated as I did previously. So Judy suffered from insomnia, and she'd suffered from it for a few years, and would get up and turn on the TV and start going to Facebook and doing all sorts of things on her phone. So this Serenity Essential Oil has really helped her. So we also have cedarwood and bergamot. So cedarwood is a sleepy oil. It stimulates melatonin, the sleep hormone. So sometimes it might get to, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. All of our natural clock times are slightly different, and I call it the noddy dog syndrome, where your head starts to nod off and you start to feel tired. Well, that's the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone, which is giving you the message that it's time, or soon will be time, to go to sleep. So cedarwood is very good for that, and bergamot is good for sleep and relaxation. So they work very well together. You can add 1 drop to your forehead, just put it onto your forehead here, underneath the soles of your feet, or you can even use 1 or 2 drops in the diffuser. Use fractionated coconut oil if you have sensitive skin, and use the oils in the same way. So this is Sally. So Sally struggled with some of the essential oils. She was very, very sensitive to smell. So I'm not keen on a lot of smells, but I do like cedarwood, and I mix it with bergamot oil. I don't just use it at night. I wear bergamot as a perfume during the day, and it really helps to keep me calm. And then at night, I rub it on the soles of my feet, and 1 drop of each oil on my forehead before bed, and I sleep really well. So I can't actually see what's underneath the stop share sign, but what I do know is this is some information that I researched that was written by Professor Russell Foster from Oxford University. He actually came out to Utah to the doTERRA American Convention last night and did a whole presentation on sleep. It was extremely interesting. So if you get a chance, please, please, please do some research and have a look at what he's got to say. I've just got a few of the bullet points here. So common and overlapping pathways are very much there and have been proven between mental illness and sleep disruption. These 2 critical behaviours draw from the same pool of neurotransmitters. Stabilise sleep and it will reduce many symptoms of mental illness. Humans are day active and our eyes work well during the day, but they work far less efficiently at night. And many of us know if we get up in the night, might go downstairs to get something out of the cupboard, you're banging into things, we find it really, really hard to see well at night. Poor sleep is also linked to the release of the hunger hormone called ghrelin. So I think it's useful for people to know. I see many people that say when they get up in the night, once they've gone on their phone or whatever they've done, they want to go to the fridge, they want to eat carbohydrates and sugar and high sugary things. And that is because of the hunger hormone. It's been released. So it's just important to know that when the metabolism changes, the cravings for carbohydrates, particularly sugar, increases. And as I said, those were bullet points from a very large, extensive report that's been done by Professor Russell Foster and his team at Oxford University. So this is an amazing oil. This is called vetiver. I would say this is kind of the top of those oils if you really struggle. So if you're somebody that suffers from chronic insomnia or really struggles to sleep, then vetiver is a very good oil. It's very thick, it's very gloopy, it takes a while to come out. It's a real root smelling woody oil. It's actually sourced in Haiti, and it's really a natural sedative. So this one is great to apply to the soles of your feet. You probably don't need any more than 2 drops, I would say, in the diffuser, because it works very well. It's quite heavily scented. Some people will take it. You can actually take it in a veggie caps, and you could put 2 drops of vetiver, or if you wanted to start off with 1 drop and a drop of lemon in a capsule. It's not only got immune supporting properties, but it will really help you to relax if you're on a business trip, or if you're on a plane and you struggle with flying, you get really anxious, then this will really, really help. So this is another client of mine called Stuart. Now Stuart is a journalist, so he is very attention to detail. He's very, very analytical, and he suffered from chronic insomnia due to a significant bereavement in the family. He hadn't slept fully for the past 2.5 years and was really struggling at home and at work. So he started using vetiver and put 1 drop each on the soles of his feet, and he used to inhale it as well. Initially, after the first week, he gave me feedback that it wasn't working for him, and that maybe this essential oil stuff was not really the right thing for him. However, I worked with him and I persuaded him to stay with it. And after 3 weeks, he began to notice the positive difference in his sleep patterns. And he was really happy that he could finally sleep for more than 2 hours at a time. Now, what I'm not saying is that it solved his sleep problem. He wasn't going for like, 5 to 7 hours a night, no. But for him, just to be able to sleep for more than 2 hours at a time was a significant improvement. So I think we just have to remember, the chemistry in our body. Sometimes it takes our cells 3 months to regenerate, so we've got to take that into consideration as well. So this is a really good sleep blend, which can be very, very effective for people that are excessive snorers. Now, you may use one or more of these oils or in isolation at the moment, but you can use the eucalyptus to breathe and the vetiver. Diffuse 3 drops each of breathe, eucalyptus and vetiver during sleep. So that's if maybe your husband or your wife or maybe your son or daughter really has a snoring issue, then these oils are very, very effective in terms of using for that purpose, along with obviously clearing the airways. So this is just an overview and some of the symptoms of depression, which we're now going to just overview and talk about. So frequent, prolonged or seemingly unprovoked sadness, loss of interest or pleasure in things that were once enjoyed, significant loss of appetite or weight, overeating or weight gain, difficulty concentrating or feeling indecisive, so not being able to make decisions, constant fatigue and loss of energy, the feeling of not really wanting to do anything. So for those of us that sometimes think, oh, I'm struggling to get out of bed in the morning, for people that are suffering from depression, this is something that they can feel all of the time, and just lifting one foot out of the other is almost like a full day's work. So it can be extremely debilitating. Increased agitation or decreased movement, which may not be noticed by the individual, where they've slowed down and maybe start to walk slowly or shuffle, but is very noticeable by others and those around them. Feelings of worthlessness or excessive guilt, constant disruptive sleep patterns, either unable to sleep or sleeping too much during the day. So there was a study, and there's a book that's been written by Rebecca Hintze. She is very senior in the doTERRA family. And for those of you that came to convention in Amsterdam and went to her emotions class, you'd have seen Rebecca Hintze in action. She was extremely good. She's written a number of books, but this particular book that she's written, which I'm going to talk about a little later on, very much studied those people suffering from depression and anxiety. So according to the World Health Organization, depression is one of the largest problems for countries of high income earnings that is faced today. So that's mainly the Western world, those countries that are working, starting work at maybe 7 in the morning and are still there in the office maybe 11 or 12 at night, doing that 5-6 days a week, working 60 or 70 hours a week without taking holidays. That is absolutely going to have some kind of major effect on the body, but it's very, very common. Nutrition is undeniably linked to depression, as in the Journal of Medicine study 2012. So eating healthy, nutrient-packed food is vital to our neurotransmitter function. Studies carried out in the UK, and this was by Rebecca and some others, on lifelong vitality. It targeted individuals who had been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. The study lasted for 60 days, and the findings of the preliminary research show that it heightened awareness that lifelong vitality may support people suffering from depression and anxiety. And I've had many cases where I know that people have been taking lifelong vitality over a period of time, and it's really, really helped with their anxiety levels in terms of reducing them, and also it's helped with depression, and it's helped with insomnia and sleep. So it helps with many different things. So lifelong vitality supports mental clarity and healthy brain functionality. So you've got your E-omegas there with 9 essential oils in there, including frankincense. It supports cardiovascular health. They support your cellular energy levels, so your alpha CRS, and a healthy digestive system, which you get from your vitamins and minerals. which unfortunately we don't always get from food because the soil is so depleted now. So we do need to have the right balance of natural supplements that are actually going to feed the body, that we can break down in the body and digest in the same way that we can with much of our food. Mito2 Max that I mentioned previously is great for energy and stamina building throughout the day. It also helps boost our mitochondria cells, that helps us to sustain more energy and promotes overall healthy circulation. So depression and anxiety, there's a lot of crossover here, but not everything crosses over. So depression we identified before, frustration, sadness, worthlessness, irritability. I'm not going to read through all of it because much of it we mentioned in the slides before. Thoughts of suicide or death. On the other side, we have anxiety, where some people very much suffer from the shakes and from trembling, sweating hands, increased breathing rate, heart palpitations, and some people generally think that they are actually suffering a heart attack. Is that real to them? It isn't. It's an anxiety, a panic attack. But for people that haven't suffered from that before, it can feel as if it's a heart attack. So this is quite serious. Feeling really nervous or powerless, and having this sense of impending danger or panic. So constantly they're in fight or flight mode. They're not able to switch that off. Small thoughts to us are very large thoughts and can be quite fearful for people that are suffering from anxiety and depression. A higher heart rate, and as I said, for maybe sweaty palms as well. And in between that, you've got the constant crossover, the restlessness, trouble thinking or concentrating or making decisions, excessive worrying, agitation, and unexplained physical complaints such as headaches or stomach aches. Because everything that we're feeling emotionally, internally, will always manifest itself in a physical condition or ailment. It always starts internally. So these are many of the symptoms of anxiety, and I'm not going to go through them all because as you will start to see, there's a pattern of crossover between anxiety and depression and even the sleep patterns. So some of the things that I know people have fed back to me are constant fear that they're going mad, they're going crazy, they're losing it, constantly restless or the inability to concentrate, always nervous, feeling like they're on the edge of something, sometimes feeling dizzy, diarrhea, increased bowel movements throughout the day. Pins and needles sometimes are felt in the fingers and the arm, not sure what that is, but it's really worrying for them. Constant tension or, muscle spasms in the shoulder or the chest or the abdomen, dry mouth. I know I'm jumping around here, but these are just some of the things that people have spoken to me about that they are suffering. Headaches, migraines, excessive thirst, frequent urinating and going to the loo, and sometimes it can result in actually getting the shakes. So all of these things aren't to be underestimated. And there is no age limit for suffering from anxiety. You can be a child, an adult, a teenager, somebody at work, at home. It crosses every single barrier, every single person. So it's just about being aware and just being there to support people that are going through it. If you're someone that's been through it yourself, making people where possible aware that this is a condition that you will need support with. And I think it's spoken about a lot more now, mental health, and people are much more open to hearing and listening and wanting to understand it. So I think we owe it to ourselves to watch out for some of those signs and really offer support and love where we can. For not only those that are friends and families, but those that might not be as close to us, because sometimes those people find it much easier to talk to somebody like myself or you than somebody that is very, very close to them in the family. So we have some lovely essential oil blends here that very much support feelings of depression or anxiety. So you've got Balance, which is the grounding blend. It's all the tree oils, your Howood, your spruce. Trees are very grounded, they're very rooted, and sometimes or many times this can be very, very helpful for anxiety. You've then got Elevation, which is your joyful blend that reduces stress levels and anxiety. Frankincense is amazing for calming and meditation. Again, use it how you see fit. reflex points behind the ears, on the neck. Inhale from the hands or the wrists. Put in and use it in your diffuser. If you have a diffuser, hold on a sec. So if you haven't got one, really look at investing in one of these diffusers. It comes with separate timings and they are really amazing to use with all of these essential oils. Wild orange, lots of us experienced wild orange and peppermint when we first found out about the oils. It reduces stress, anxiety and the toxic load. And peppermint is very, very invigorating and great for focus and concentration. Is there an oil that can help with all of these conditions? Yes, I believe there is. So you have the amazing Roman chamomile. 5 ml bottle, a beautiful, beautiful floral oil. It reduces the effects of insomnia, decreases feelings of anxiety and stress, reduces feelings of irritability. It can be very calming and uplifting. And use 1 to 2 drops on your reflex points or in a diffuser or on your pillow, and you will really start to feel the benefits from this particular oil. Now, I know that I haven't mentioned every oil. These are just oils that I've used and people have used and had benefits from. You may have some of your own favourite oils that have not been mentioned, and if so, please continue to use them. And last but by not least, this is the book. It's called Essentially Happy by Rebecca Linda Hintze. She has a number of books out, actually. She's even got a newer book than this now. It's a very small read, but it's brilliant. So if you can get hold of this book, it's very reasonable. I think it costs about £10 from Amazon and other places. And it talks about how you can overcome depression by Mother Nature. It talks about gut health, nutrition, and many other interesting things. So I'd like to thank you all for your time. I've run slightly over, apologise for that, Nathan. And I will close it off now, and I believe that it will now be open for any questions that you may have to ask me. So I should stop. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Abby, for that brilliant presentation. So Abby, if anyone's got any questions, you put it in the chat box and Abby will answer them.